up, you guys? It's Lexi DIY and welcome back to my YouTube channel. So today we are doing an extreme budget bathroom makeover on our hallway bathroom. Now, initially I did want to do a full renovation on this, but it got to the end and we just did not have time. So I figured let's go ahead and do what we can on a really tight budget, and it turned out actually so cute. I'm really glad that we did it this way. One big disclaimer is that we did this before we put the house on the market, and any projects that are upcoming that you guys see, I think this may honestly be the last one, I'm not sure, but we're done before we had the house under contract, just so everybody knows. But I'm really excited for you guys to see it. I'm gonna stop talking now. Let's go ahead and hop into the video. So this is what we're starting out with. Now, this was a lot more cleaned up than when we actually moved in the house, so I'll show you guys that later. But this is the main part of the bathroom that we're gonna be focusing on. Obviously, since we're doing a budget renovation, we can't replace the shower and everything at this time, so we're focusing on the vanity portion of the bathroom. We took down the medicine cabinet, which I probably could have just painted it, but it was a little wonky and it was kind of drooping there at the bottom, so I felt just replacing it would be better. And then, of course, it wouldn't be a project if we didn't paint, because paint is just the easiest, most cost-effective way to really transform a room with as little money as possible. Paint makes a huge difference. As you can tell, it was very yellowy beige in here before, and I painted it a bright white. I actually didn't have to buy this paint because I had it left over from our master bathroom renovation, and it's the color Frost by Behr. Super cool toned white, made it a lot brighter in here, and I actually painted the ceiling as well. Although I did have it left over, I'm still gonna account for how much a gallon would be in the budget, because basically I had a whole gallon. And then I took down this light fixture. Don't worry, all the electricity is off. Yeah, this light fixture just wasn't it. And honestly, I don't necessarily love the one that I put up either, but it was the best that I could find to match the style within the time frame that I needed. So I don't know, let me know how you guys feel about it, but we installed that. It was super easy to install, and of course I did go back and touch up the paint around everything so that it was all the same color. Now, I do apologize for the vertical footage, but even though my camera was very clearly recording, the footage has disappeared. Love that for me. Anyway, we leveled out a little piece of tape. This is how I like to hang things. I like to level the tape and then be able to find the studs and put in my screws or nails where I know that they're level. And we hung up this mirror that we got from HomeGoods for $100. This is definitely my favorite part of the bathroom. Wow, I look great. Anyway, we're gonna be redoing the vanity today. Now, initially I really wanted to replace this, but it's a very odd length. It's 59 inches. I'm guessing because of the tile on the wall, which we just don't have time to replace. We don't have time to take it down and put up drywall. So we have to work with this. Now, you guys can see here, this part was actually missing and this part was off, but we had it. And so they just replaced both sides of this with, they told us it was gonna be a custom thing before we moved in, because the VA required it, but instead they just put basically a piece of wood and some trim and stained it to not really match the rest of it. I did go to Habitat for Humanity and pick up some. They're not exactly alike, they don't have this little indent here, which you can't even tell on camera, but they look a lot better, and they're the exact same size as the drawers. They're just a little thicker, whatever. It's gonna look really good, so I'm gonna take those off. I'm gonna clean it all up. We're gonna change the hardware. We are going to actually probably change the hinges, because on this side, I don't know if you can really tell, but it's this hinge is way bigger than these hinges on this side. So we're gonna swap out the hinges, the hardware, clean sand shellac primer is what we're gonna be using because shellac basically makes anything stick to it. So then basically I just pulled out all of the drawers because I was gonna start, you know, cleaning everything, and this is what I found. Well, I found a marble, so. Another marble, okay. So when I posted this on TikTok a while back, I was told that the marbles were to like tell if somebody opened the medicine drawer. So I don't know, is that like, does anybody have marbles under their like drawers in their cabinets? I don't know. Anyway, I took off the doors and then it was time to remove these really poorly done like little fronts. Now these aren't like working drawers, so it just looks like, you know, the face of the drawer. And I tried to pull them off as best I could. I'm really trying not to use like a lot of force just because obviously I don't want to damage the frame. And under here was super dirty. I was doing my best to clean it out, and we had even cleaned this once we first moved in as well. But there was this like black stuff that I could not get all the way off. I got everything off as best as I could. And trust me, I was scrubbing for hours, like scraping, doing all the things, but yeah, some of the black stuff just wasn't coming up. And I don't even know what it is, if I'm being honest. But I cleaned out all the drawers, and I did go ahead and give them a light sanding, and then I wiped it off with a paper towel. And I also removed all of the hardware, and I don't think for whatever reason that I got video of that. And then I did a light sanding on, you know, just the entire outside. Of course, wiped all of the dust off because we do not want, you know, dusty stuff in our primer. Then I went in with the shellac primer. Now, shellac primer basically makes anything stick to it, so it's a really, really good primer. And I went ahead and just covered the inside with 2 coats of this, which, you know, was able to at least make it look better than it did before. And I went over the entire thing with it. Now, I am using a tiny little foam roller, you know, my favorite, and of course just like a brush to get into all the little spaces that are kind of difficult. One thing is I'm about to use leftover paint that I had from my wall. It's a common theme in this bathroom. We're using what we have, you know, reduce, reuse, recycle. We love to see it. So I wanted to go in with a primer, which normally I would not, but the reason I did that is because I'm actually gonna be using flat paint that I use for my walls. Of course, had to prime all of the drawers, and you know, even with like the patchy white, this was already looking just a million times better, you guys. The only thing about shellac primer is it's like dries super quick and gets like hard and like sticky, but I think that's why things stick to it. So it kind of ruined my paintbrush, and I definitely won't be using this paintbrush for anything but that primer. Like, I was still able to rinse it out, but it dries so quick and it was like making the paintbrush hard. I also, you know, put primer on the little like face plates that I had picked up from Habitat for Humanity. And by the way, those were only a few dollars, guys. So definitely check that out if you're wanting to like resurface a vanity in your house. I also just took off all of the hinges on these, of course, gave them a little clean, and took off the hardware so I could get ready to paint them. I feel like I should also mention that this was all done before we put the house on the market. I know it's a little bit confusing because we have just put a video up saying, hey, we sold the hot mess house, and now it's like, hey, here's a room renovation, but this has already been done. It's just, it was a timing thing with getting all of the videos out, and I was just a little bit overwhelmed. So there's a few projects that you guys will see, and don't worry, we're not still renovating the house while it's like under contract. These were already done. Everything was done before we put it on the market. Anyway, I'm going in with my tiny little foam roller. I actually get these little tiny foam roller kits that comes with the little thing that like holds the paint in it, the little tray at Dollar Tree, and genuinely I love them. And since it's only $1, I just throw it away when I'm done. That's probably not great, as I just was like, yeah, reduce, reuse, recycle. But you know what? I needed to go fast. And yeah, also you can see me getting all of this green paint on the tile. Don't worry, I'm gonna scrape it off later. It's gonna be fine. I probably should have put some more painter's tape there. But anyway, I'm going, you know, in with the green that was actually in my living room. For some reason, off the top of my head, I cannot remember the color that it is at this time, but I'll try to insert it if I remember. Now, I tried to do everything mainly with like go over it with the foam roller just so that it would look more smooth and even, and I probably could have used my paint sprayer to do this, but at this point I had no room in my garage to set up all of this, and I was like, we're gonna do it by hand. So that's what we did. I did end up doing 2 coats on everything. Now, I know people are gonna be like, Lexi, this is a flat wall paint that you are using on a cabinet, and I hear you. I hear you. But I do go in after with this furniture sealer polish from Behr. And by the way, like I have said that their name so many times in this, it's not sponsored, it's just what I use, just so you guys know. But you can see me wiping it on, and essentially it like seals the paint so it doesn't scratch. Like normally you would use it for like chalkboard paint or you know, something like that, but I just used it on here, and I actually already had that also, but I will include it in the budget. And then I just scraped off anything from, you know, the tile on the walls, and I put all of the drawers back in. As I'm putting them in, again, I am, you know, wiping on that polish to make sure that it doesn't chip. And I ordered these pulls off Amazon. I will link them below. They are super cute. They're the same ones I used in my kitchen, and I got them all for a really good price. And it's super easy, guys. If you want to change the hardware on something, let me tell you, super, super simple. All you have to do is make sure that you're getting the same size that your current hardware is, and you just like take out a few screws in the back and put the new one on. It's really simple, and I think that this made like the biggest difference. Now, we had a little bit of trouble getting the doors back on. We did swap the hinges, and also I went back and I painted the insides of the doors just like after they were on, but I don't show that, just so that you guys know. But we did have to like hand screw some of the stuff in because I don't really know why, it just like was not working out, but we got them on, and that's all that matters. Now, these doors didn't have the same like holes as before, so I'll show you what I did with that later. But first, I'm using my air nail gun to just put on those little pieces. Don't worry, I go back and I like paint over so you can't see the little holes. I like fill in the holes and stuff, but I needed to put those on, and that looks way better than like the random job that they had done in here before with the trim and the piece of wood. And then I did use this guide to mark my holes, and I just drilled holes so that I could put on the new hardware. Also swapped out the faucet off camera, but here are the before and afters. way to the end of today's video. I am really happy with how the bathroom turned out. I actually was really surprised that we could kind of bring that vanity back to life, and I love it. But my favorite part is definitely that mirror I got from HomeGoods. So I'm curious to know which part is your favorite. Make sure to drop a comment and let me know. But you guys, I'm really excited. There's a lot of videos coming up of us packing up, of us moving, of the new house, and I'm really excited to bring you guys along. So make sure if you're not already that you're subscribed to my YouTube channel and ring the bell notification so that you don't miss any of those videos. And if you want to, go ahead and follow me on all my other social media channels. They'll be linked here on the screen and in the description box below. But that's it for me today, guys, and I will see you in the next one. Bye!